Alrighty, welcome back friends to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This is a YouTube channel dedicated to helping players improve their skills in Bannerlord through the use of advanced tactics and other strategic concerns. In this episode we're also going to be covering a little bit of character creation, character loadout, right, and then we'll have a battle here against the Asurai. So my own character I've documented in other videos. He's a very high level character. He's got a very strong armor, javelins, polearm, and a nice two-handed axe. So we'll cover some of my other characters since I've covered him already. This character, for example, is one of my oldest characters. You can see from his stats. It's nice from this page I can show you both their loadout and their stats. This guy has, maximum skills and a lot of skills. One-handed, riding, crossbow. He's good on horse, right? And on top of that, of course, since he is such a nasty companion, he's got really good armor, right? My campaign is very late game, something like 5,000 days. I have the luxury of being able to play at work sometimes. So you see he also has a polearm, right? He swings a long custom polearm. And then these are also javelins that the grandfather of my current character made a long time ago that we're still putting to use. Just another random character. I'm not going to show you too much on characters that aren't remarkable. This looks like, I think this is a wife of one of our new characters, but you'll notice the balanced stacked arrows. What that gives you is a lot of arrows and a lot of good damage output. And then she's also using a polearm. I like to have that much more ammo, right? She's got 64 total arrows for her loadout. This next character, I'm just going to cover like a dozen of these. If you want to skip to battle, go to about 7 minutes in. This is another fairly unremarkable character, but this is a mounted character, right? They have a nice lance, they have a big shield, a quick two-handed weapon, and then more good javelins, right? I'd like to have at least some of my characters able to charge out there like knights are supposed to do, right? You really want a balance of characters in your army. This is another companion. This is, I think, one of our what are they? They're like paid companions. This is not a family member, but she's armed with a nice big fast sword, a shield, and then look at the strength of the sword, right? It's a very powerful custom sword. A lot of these I don't even remember making. I made them so long ago. I don't actually smith anymore, but this character's grandfather was our smith. I like to give them different loadouts. You can see her armor is distinct. Sometimes I want to recognize who's where in the battlefield, right? So a lot of my characters have a unique look, even at the expense of a little bit to the gear they're using, right? I like to give them good banners, of course, right? If they're going to be captains assigned to army groups, you want to make sure they have good banners. And then people, admire sometimes the gear, the armor that we have. You have to remember that my campaign is almost like obsessively played at this stage, right? So another character with the double quiver, right? So this character is shooting 60 arrows in battle, which is really nice, right? I fight a lot of long battles, very important, right? You see pretty high level gear. She's got a very distinct layout, so I can recognize her. This is another one of my classic character builds, right? Now this is a newer character. I think this is like a cousin of the current player, and she is, mounted cavalry with javelins as well. You can definitely have your cavalry members throwing javelins. Just like the Asurai, it's actually a really nasty combination. You see a really nice polearm, right? I like swingable polearms. People sometimes they do a lot of the thrusting polearms. I find the swingable polearms, if I had to choose between the two, that would be my preference. You can get just an idea a little bit of the inventory. I keep our nicest gear in a city because if you are captured, if your army is defeated, you lose all of the unequipped armor, all the unequipped weapons, right? You don't want to look at the size of that sword, right? It's just savage. You don't want to lose all your good equipment just because you lost a battle, right? This is another one of my really good family members, 330 crossbow skill, right? So 330 athletics and crossbow skill, right? So he's wielding a nasty two-handed sword. Look, it goes all the way down to his calf, and he has 2 full quivers of very high level. I think these are the highest level. Yeah, these are the highest level bolts, right? So this guy's deadly at range, and then he's more than capable up close, right? He whips out that giant. That axe looks like it's right out of a movie. I'm trying to remember that movie with Daniel Day-Lewis in the 90s, Last of the Mohicans. That's what that sword looks like. It's like a sword axe. Anyways, another distinctive look, good armor. Right, he's very recognizable on the battlefield. This character is kind of unremarkable, if I remember right, kind of mediocre stats, which is another point. You're going to have some characters that are stewards. You really have the division of two types of characters. You have fighting characters, and you have steward characters. Now, she happens to be fighting with the army right now, but your stewards have more skill points allotted to medicine, siege, leadership, trade, etc. And usually I have them as governors of a castle, right? This is obviously another warrior, right? He's got a big two-handed sword, a fast two-handed sword, very strong armor, right? If these guys are going to be in the thick of it, I want him to make sure he has really good armor, and again, the distinct look. And then again, 3 quivers of javelins, right? That means he's throwing javelins 10 minutes into the fight. Another horse archer character. This is another one of our fairly young characters. People ask how I'm leveling my characters so quickly, and the answer is simple. Declare war on every single kingdom in your game and see how many battles you end up fighting. The net effect of that is that I'm fighting a battle like every other day, and oftentimes they're huge, difficult battles, right? Where my companions are killing 10, 20, 30 people every battle, and they're fighting 3 battles a week, right? This is basically like, we're like the Harlem Globetrotters of Calradia warriors, right? They're just going around spinning basketballs behind their back while they behead people with their two-handed axe, right? This is one of my important characters for speed. You can see her athletics. She also has the speed banner, right? And what that does, I usually put her in charge of the 8th Corps. That's our elite 8th Corps, the guys who move in quick to kill. She's got quivers, full of arrows, so she can shoot at range. And then we move tremendously fast, right? She tears into battle with her two-handed axe and could do some major damage, right? So I'm trying to sort of walk the line between boring people, and I'm not going to walk you through. I have literally like 50 or 60 total companions. I'll show you a few more, and then we'll get to battle. This is another hired companion. She's crossbow, standard shield, and sword. You'll notice a theme with my troops. Almost all of them have range weapons, right? I have a few cavalry that don't, but most of my troops have range weapons because the manner I fight, the different variety of fights I get into, range is tremendously valuable. You can see her theme there is kind of like a rugged, bear warrior. This is a savage wench here. She's been with me for a long time. This is one of my most experienced companions. This guy, is another one of my experienced companions. Again, he's a javelin thrower. Oftentimes I put him in charge of the 6th. So let's get to battle. I don't know if that was enough for people. I hope it was. But here we go. We got the Asurai here, and I've fought in this area before, and a lot of times it's a perfect setup for a kill box. I've showed a kill box in previous episodes. It wasn't, I consider, a great demonstration, so hopefully the map gives us the right setup for a better demonstration of that. And yes, this is going to work beautifully. Okay, so a lot of people start way back and let the enemy come to them. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to rush this hill. I want to use that right. Yeah, that right over there. I'm going to use that with archers. Archer divisions, the 6th, 8th, 4th, and 5th Corps. And then that ridge on the left, I'm going to try to station cavalry so that the enemy cavalry trying to pour over the ridge, right, the Asurai Ferris and all their javelin throwing fucks, they will get jammed up like rush hour traffic, totally furious and dying while they're furious, right? They're going to be stuck on that ridge. Meanwhile, this devastating archer salvo from this other side is just going to be pounding them, right? That's the main strategy I'm enacting here. 3rd Cavalry's down in the valley there. I'm doing a lot of things kind of quick here, just bear with me. 3rd Cavalry's acting as a block, and what I mean by a block is a group of cavalry that are simply in shield wall formation, right? They're there strictly as a defensive layer. You can consider them almost like a defensive fortification of a fort. I don't want them attacking. I just want them withholding this enemy assault, right? Not allowing their horses to get behind our formation. So I'll come in here. The enemy tends to be deterred a little bit if you come flying in on them, and they'll retreat like that. That's perfect, right? What I want to do is get my troops in place, and then they can come as fast as they'd like, right? Because they're going to be walking right into the mob. Yeah. Again, that's the 3rd Cavalry there. That's designed to prevent the enemy from really being able to charge up to the top of the ridge, right? I want them to stay in this valley. Now they're playing kind of defensive. Their troops are up there on the left, kind of sitting on that ridge. That's fine. I have confidence in our ranged troops. And meanwhile, their cavalry's coming down and just getting shot to ribbons. Now look at that perfect V, right? Right in the center of the screen. That is the kill box, right? I want the enemy to come pouring into that, and then the idea, especially when they send in their infantry vanguard, is to collapse on that attack from 4 different sides. You're going to be using the cavalry. When they come in, I'll actually send the cavalry through their formation, so it kind of runs past them, and then call them back to me with the follow command, like F1, F2. And what that does is it brings those cavalry back to me. I mean, you can imagine it sends them through. This mod has beheadings, so be aware. Don't let me 8-year-old kids watch this unless you want them to be war hardened. What that's going to do, here they come. What that's going to do is that's going to collapse that cavalry with the rest of our units, and we'll simultaneously attack. Right. So you see the V formation. Meanwhile, arrows are raining down. Right. We're softening them up. The skirmishers are hammering them as well. I'll advance the cavalry around them here, and what we're going to do is we're going to attack with the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 8th divisions all at the same time. Right. And here it comes. Follow me, and watch everybody just collapse. Look at the rain of death. Their troops are just walking into an absolute slaughterhouse. It's just a rain of projectiles. You guys are getting shot in the face. And in come our elite infantry, right? Our 6th and 8th, that's our high-level infantry. Look at the screen. It's almost all green, right? They got 1 kill, and it's a steamroller, right? That was like 200 infantry that just got absolutely vaporized by this kill box, right? There's still some fighting. They obviously sent in enough troops. You're going to have to whittle them all down. But these troops, the reason this is so effective is they're being attacked on all sides. On top of that, because our archers are elevated like that, they can rain death even while my troops are surrounding them, right? Anybody that's in the middle of their formation is getting smoked with arrows and bolts, especially after the layout you just saw. High-level bolts, right? So these guys are doing massive damage to an enemy that's completely overwhelmed. Right? That was much better than my first demonstration of the kill box. That was completely destructive. I think we lost 2 guys, and they lost, 500,000. It seemed like it was probably their 250-person vanguard just vaporized. So a lot of times in battles like this, there was only 1,200 troops, if I remember right. We're actually going to seize the initiative here. I want my troops moving forward. The game has a momentum system where your troops do more damage if they're moving. So I want them charging the enemy here. Right? I've got the cavalry acting as a block, and our infantry are moving up. Right? I'm repositioning the archers, right, so they still have nice range. But the other advantage of destroying their whole vanguard, right, we've literally killed 600, 700 of their troops already, is they're already down to their 3rd and 4th tier troops. Right? These are your upgraded, slightly upgraded infantry and archers, but these are limbs flying all over the place. These are not troops that are really going to be able to handle our troops face to face. Right? So it's a continuing wall of green, even though tactically we haven't made like any dramatic, incredible Sun Tzu type of tactic here. Now you can actually just steamroll this enemy. Right? We've got momentum. We're keeping that. I do have archers positioned. We're not just coming in willy-nilly. But at this stage, they're fighting us with one hand tied behind their back, or I guess one hand flying through the air is the example of that guy there. In come their, now we're down to peasants, right? In real life, there's absolutely no way these guys would charge into battle after watching the heads roll of their elite vanguard. But here we are. That's how quick this battle disintegrated into an absolute rout for the enemy. A kill box, the timing is critical. If you're going to try this, I would actually recommend you practice a few times in a game you're willing to reload. Don't do this on Iron Man mode. I do this fresh. I don't save scum unless I have like a game crash or it puts me in a strange spot. But I'm also experienced enough that even if I fail to pull off the timing, we can still win this battle. And as you can see, when you do pull off the timing as beautifully as that, that is, I don't know if I'm going to have a more effective kill box than that. That was an absolutely destructive victory by our force, right? We're actually outnumbered, like 1,200 to 900 or something, something like that. Still ripping off arms and legs. Jesus. But I don't know. I'll see the tally here in a second. I usually wait till the battle's almost done, but we might have lost 80 troops or 100 troops in that whole battle. Hopefully you enjoyed this example, both of the character layout and another example of a kill box, a proper demonstration, as the English would say, of the kill box. Yeah, 48 casualties and 5 deaths, and they've got to build more graveyards in Asarai country for the ass whipping that they just took. Well, thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment. That stuff drives more people to the community, which will make us all better, right? I can still learn too. And again, thanks for watching.